All right, let's talk about something that can literally make or break patient outcomes, but it's so often just an afterthought. I'm talking about writing a truly powerful clinical letter. Today, we're going to break down the essential structure for referrals, transfers, and discharges to help you elevate your communication and, most importantly, deliver better patient care.
So here's our roadmap. First up, we're going to look at the universal blueprint that's behind every good clinical letter. Then, we'll dive into the nitty-gritty of the three big ones: the referral, the transfer, and the discharge. And to wrap it all up, we'll see how they all share this one powerful conclusion.
Okay, let's start at the beginning with the absolute foundation. It might actually surprise you, but every single effective clinical letter, no matter what it's for, is built on the exact same core structure. If you can get this framework down, you are already halfway there.
And this slide, well, it lays out that core framework perfectly. It's a really simple three-part structure. You've got a clear introduction that sets the stage, a really detailed main body to tell the clinical story, and then a tight, concise conclusion with clear next steps. It's a logical flow designed so your colleague can find what they need fast.
So, let's see this blueprint in action. We'll kick things off with the referral letter. Think of this as the moment you're opening a brand new door to specialized care for your patient.
At its heart, a referral is really just a formal request for help. You're passing the care of your patient to a colleague for a very specific reason. So being crystal clear about what you need and why, well, it's absolutely essential.
Your introduction needs to get straight to the point. State your purpose right up front, then give those key patient details. And hey, it's worth remembering that something as simple as a patient's occupation can give a specialist so much valuable context. And finally, be explicit about what you're asking them to do.
Okay, in the main body, this is where you're really painting the full clinical picture. You've got the present history, any relevant social or family context that matters. You'll also cover the important past history, and, critically, describe the patient's current condition and how they've responded to treatment so far.
Now this brings us to a really crucial point. You've got to tailor your letter. The amount of detail you give depends entirely on who's receiving it. A specialist is going to need that comprehensive history, right? But a GP who already has the patient's full records, they don't need you to repeat it all. It's a simple way to be more efficient and honestly more respectful of your colleague's time.
Next up, the transfer letter. I always think of this as passing the baton in a relay race of patient care. A smooth handover is everything. A clumsy one can have pretty serious consequences. So this letter has to ensure a totally seamless transition.
The whole goal of a transfer letter is super simple: continuity of care. The team on the other end has to have everything they need to hit the ground running, with zero gaps. There's just no room for ambiguity here.
So the intro to a transfer letter is doing two jobs. First, it's all about logistics, the what, when, and where of the transfer. And second, it's got to provide a clinical snapshot, the patient's main complaint and their current recovery status, so the receiving team is totally up to speed from the second they start reading.
Okay, the main body of a transfer letter is where the details of that management plan become absolutely critical. This is your chance to stop any gaps in care from ever happening. You have to be explicit. For instance, don't just say monitor vitals, say check blood pressure every 2 hours. Clear instructions are the key to a safe handover.
And our final letter type, the discharge summary. A great way to think about this one is as the patient's user manual for what comes next, for their continued care after leaving the hospital. It's the guide that helps them and their community team navigate what to do.
This letter really plays a dual role. It's the final chapter of the patient's hospital stay, summing up their entire admission. But it's also the very first chapter of their recovery, giving their GP a crystal clear plan to follow.
The introduction here should just quickly set the scene, recap the essential facts of the admission, when, where, and why it happened. Then, clearly state the discharge date and give a concise summary of the patient's condition as they're leaving your care. This gives the GP that immediate context they need.
Now, the most critical part of the discharge letter's main body is the discharge plan itself. This is the section the GP is going to rely on more than any other. It has to be clear, it has to be actionable, with really specific instructions on meds, follow-up appointments, and any red flags to watch out for.
So we've looked at three pretty different types of clinical letters, and now we get to the part where they all come together, where all paths converge, the conclusion. It turns out there's a powerful universal sign-off that every single one of these letters should have. It's kind of an interesting thought, right? Despite all their different purposes, the conclusion for a referral, a transfer, or a discharge letter, they should all follow the exact same powerful pattern. And that consistency is what really fosters collaboration and ensures patient safety.
And it all boils down to a really simple 3-step process. First, summarize the current situation in just a sentence or two. Second, explicitly state your request for what needs to happen next. And third, offer to help if they need more info. This simple structure closes the communication loop, and honestly, it just strengthens your professional relationships.
And that's really what this is all about, isn't it? Mastering these structures isn't just some academic exercise. It is a direct investment in your patient's safety. Clear, effective communication saves time, it prevents errors, and ultimately it just leads to better health outcomes for everyone.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. We've talked a lot about the science and the structure of a good clinical letter, but there's also an art to it. So think about the next letter you write. Beyond the blueprint we've discussed, what's that one human detail, that piece of context, or that extra moment of clarity you can add to make it truly exceptional?
This is the summary of different types of letter in OET with the format. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for OET tips, medical English, and many more. Like, share, and follow for more.